chosen ones. The group that came against you is currently panicking. Listen carefully, because what I am about to tell you is something they desperately do not want you to know. For months, they have whispered in secret. They misunderstood your silence for weakness. They laughed when you were completely drained and isolated. But right now, a massive shift is tearing through their camp. The very trap they set for you has become their own spiritual prison. You saved the wrong person. You poured your entire soul into someone who was secretly praying for your downfall. And now, the universe is executing a divine redirection that will shake everyone who doubted you. Stop scrolling right now and watch this entirely alone. Not later. Not after another video. Take one deep breath slowly and let the heavy noise leave your mind for just a moment. You feel that quiet ache sitting in the back of your chest, the deep exhaustion you cannot explain, even when you have slept for 10 full hours. I need you to stop running from it. Something fundamental shifted this week in the spiritual realm. Heaven has been watching you smile while carrying a crushing weight that nobody else sees. You have been fighting unseen battles, protecting people who never even bother to check on you. You gave them your absolute brightest light, and they left you alone in the dark. Think about the people who doubted you, the ones who judged your journey without ever walking a single mile in your shoes. They watched you sacrifice everything for that one specific person. They saw you give your last drop of energy to heal someone who only wanted to bleed you dry. And when you finally collapsed from the effort, those doubters actually blamed you. They called you crazy. They said you were too sensitive or perhaps too dramatic. This isolation you are feeling right now is incredibly heavy. You wake up at 3 in the morning with a racing heart. You feel sudden waves of sadness that do not even belong to your own spirit. You thought you were losing your mind, but you are simply absorbing their toxic chaos. You stepped into the blazing fire to pull them out. You acted as their human shield against the severe consequences of their own toxic choices. And what did they do when they were finally safe and secure? They turned around and handed you the ashes. They took your healing energy and used it to build a pedestal for themselves while stepping directly on your tired back. You stayed silent to keep the fragile peace. You swallowed your heavy truth because you did not want to cause any more drama. But your quiet grace was weaponized against you. They spun a completely false narrative to the doubters. They made themselves the victim while you bled out in secret. You carried their shame so they could walk around with a clean reputation. It hurts deeply because your intentions were incredibly pure. You did not help them for a reward or for applause. You helped them because you possess a rare, empathic soul. You looked at their broken pieces and you genuinely wanted to help them. But some people do not want to be fixed. They only want company in their dark misery. You tried to love the demons out of them. But all you did was invite their spiritual warfare into your own home. That is why your finances suddenly felt blocked. That is why your physical body feels incredibly heavy every single day. Your spirit is exhausted from fighting battles in the unseen realm that you were never supposed to fight. Do not click away from this urgent message. This is not a random coincidence in your day. The algorithm did not bring you here today. The universe orchestrated this exact intersection in time because you are standing at the edge of a massive breakthrough. God is stepping in right now to cut the heavy cords that have been draining your divine energy for many long years. There is a very specific reason why your life has felt overwhelmingly strange in the last 72 hours. People suddenly pulling away from you without a word. Doors closing unexpectedly right in your face. Plans falling apart at the very last minute. I need you to stay with me until the very end of this message. What heaven is about to reveal will finally make sense of every single tear. The system does not want you to know what is happening behind the scenes. The person you saved is currently facing a brutal spiritual reckoning. They thought they got away with their lies. They thought your silence meant they had won the war. But heaven was just giving them enough time to expose their own darkness to the people they tried to impress. Right now, deep confusion is hitting their camp hard. The doubters are starting to clearly see the ugly cracks in their fake persona. What they whispered in secret is now being shouted from the spiritual rooftops. Their entire life is unraveling quickly, and they know exactly why it is happening. They are absolutely terrified because they realize they traded their only true protector for temporary validation. You need to understand the exact trap the enemy laid out for your bright soul. If you do not understand this trap clearly, you will mishandle the massive blessing that is coming your way very soon. You are not meant to stay in this heavy survival mode forever. You are meant to step boldly into a beautiful season of absolute quiet authority. Before I go any further, I need you to understand something deeply. You are probably sitting there right now blaming your own kind heart. You think you were foolish for trusting someone who wore such a convincing mask. You look back at all the red flags you ignored, and you feel a deep sense of heavy regret. But here is the profound truth. You did not make a mistake. Your kindness was never a weakness. It was a rigorous divine test that you did not even know you were taking, and you passed it brilliantly. The delay from heaven in removing them from your life is not a denial of your peace. It is absolute exactness. The universe had to let them get close enough to reveal their true toxic nature. The Matrix wants you to believe that you are simply a victim of bad circumstances. They want you to feel incredibly foolish for giving your pure energy to a black hole. Because if you feel foolish, you will eventually close your beautiful heart. And if you close your heart, the system successfully extinguishes one of its brightest spiritual threats. You are a masterpiece of the Creator. You are a powerful cycle breaker. Your empathy is not a character flaw that needs to be fixed or dialed back. It is a highly advanced spiritual radar. When you walked into their life, your intense light immediately exposed the dark corners they desperately tried to hide. You did not break them. You merely illuminated their existing ruins. They did not hate you. They hated the blinding light inside you that exposed their comfortable darkness. The system sent that specific person to drain your frequency. It was a calculated spiritual attack disguised as a random friendship or a romantic connection. There are no coincidences in a chosen one's life. Everything is a divine appointment. You were never meant to save them. You were sent there to act as a spiritual mirror. Heaven needed them to see their own reflection clearly. And heaven needed you to realize just how powerful your own light truly is. The intense exhaustion you feel right now is not a sign of failure. It is the natural physical result of a massive spiritual collision. You are not just tired. Your spirit is exhausted from fighting intense battles in the unseen realm. You absorbed their heavy generational trauma so they could experience a brief moment of peace. But they became addicted to your light instead of finding their own. They turned you into their personal, emotional battery. And when you finally ran empty, they discarded you. But heaven was doing something deeply profound behind the scenes. Your current isolation is not a punishment for trusting the wrong person. It is a divine quarantine to protect your ascending frequency. The universe had to forcefully separate you because your next season cannot be entered with parasitic chaos attached to your beautiful soul. You did not survive because you are simply tough. You survived because you are chosen. The trauma they inflicted on you was meant to permanently bury you in heavy self-doubt. But the enemy made one fatal miscalculation. They did not realize you were a seed. And the very dirt they threw on your name is exactly what heaven is using to grow your ultimate authority. Every tear you cried in secret was actively collected by heaven. You thought you were breaking down, but you were actually breaking free. The heavy survival mode that kept you anxious is finally expiring. You are no longer required to be the spiritual shield for people who consistently choose to remain toxic. Your massive shift is officially here today. The Matrix operates on extremely low frequencies of fear and constant manipulation. When you tried to heal that person, you were actively disrupting a dark system. That is exactly why it felt so incredibly draining. You were not just fighting one selfish individual. You were fighting an entire spiritual network of parasitic energy that feeds on pure empathic souls. Listen to me very carefully. You are officially released from the burden of healing people who passionately want to stay broken. It is no longer your sacred responsibility to carry their heavy bags. Drop them right now. You have paid your emotional debts in full. The universe is stepping in right now to aggressively multiply what the enemy boldly stole from you. This brings us directly to the exact reason heaven brought you here today. The people who doubted your intentions are about to face a very harsh spiritual reality. The universe allowed them to judge you so their own toxic alignment could be recorded. They chose to side with the manipulator, and by doing so, they willingly tied their own fate to a rapidly sinking ship. Take another deep breath right now. Drop your tense shoulders. You are not starting over from scratch. You are simply finishing the brutal preparation phase. The isolation was necessary to detoxify your spirit, because what is coming next requires a vessel that is completely free from the heavy opinions of average sleepers. You are stepping into your true quiet power. Now let us talk about what the enemy desperately tried to hide from you. You need to understand the exact anatomy of a spiritual manipulator. They do not target weak people. The Matrix programs them to specifically hunt for the brightest lights. They targeted you because you possess a rare level of spiritual wealth that they could never achieve on their own. They are essentially empty vessels. They wander through life wearing various masks to extract validation from anyone who will listen. When they found you, they hit the absolute jackpot. They saw a brilliant empath with a massive capacity for deep forgiveness. They knew you would make endless excuses for their terrible behavior, so they moved in very quickly. In the beginning, they perfectly mirrored your exact frequency. They pretended to share your deep values and your profound spiritual insights. They presented themselves as a wounded bird that desperately needed a safe place to heal. And your beautiful cycle breaker heart immediately opened the door. You gave them premium access to your highly protected inner sanctuary. But here is where it goes much deeper. Something nobody ever tells you about the Matrix. These manipulators operate exactly like a spiritual parasite. They cannot generate their own divine energy. So, they must constantly siphon it from highly anointed chosen ones. Every time they dumped their heavy emotional chaos onto you, they walked away feeling strangely energized. While they felt instantly lighter, you were left completely drained. You started having terrible headaches. Your mind felt constantly foggy. You felt heavy exhaustion after spending even 10 short minutes in their presence. This was not a random physical illness. This was active spiritual warfare happening directly inside your own living room. Chosen one, do not let your mind wander here. Lock your attention on what I am about to say. As they drained your beautiful energy, they also began a very calculated smear campaign. They knew you would eventually figure out their toxic game, so they had to systematically destroy your credibility before you could ever speak your absolute truth. They went to your mutual friends. They went to your family members. They subtly planted tiny seeds of doubt about your mental stability. They played the ultimate victim while secretly holding the bloody knife. And the doubters blindly swallowed every single lie. The sleepers always side with the manipulator because fake energy feels comfortably familiar to them. You might wonder why the doubters turned on you so quickly. Why did the people who have known you for years suddenly believe a complete stranger? It is because the Matrix relies heavily on a toxic hive mind mentality. The doubters are not spiritually awake. They operate on a low frequency of constant judgment. Your pure light actually made them feel highly uncomfortable. When the manipulator painted you as the villain, it gave the doubters a convenient excuse to finally project their own deep insecurities onto you. They attacked you because your rising spiritual authority threatened their stagnant lives. They secretly wanted to see the great chosen one fall. It made them feel much better about their own massive lack of divine purpose. But heaven did not leave you defenseless in this brutal season. You felt a sudden, powerful urge to just pull away from absolutely everyone. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were passionately committed to misunderstanding you. That sudden silence was not you giving up. That was the Holy Spirit actively deploying your ultimate spiritual shield. Silence is not weakness. Silence is absolute wisdom under strict control. When you stopped feeding the endless drama, the manipulator suddenly lost their primary food source. They desperately tried to provoke you. They sent flying monkeys to trigger your deep emotions. But you remained completely unresponsive. And that is exactly when their entire fake world began to crumble. Without your pure energy to sustain their heavy mask, their true face is finally starting to slip. The manipulator is becoming highly erratic. They are making incredibly sloppy mistakes. The same doubters who fiercely defended them are now noticing the dark cracks in their endless stories. The grand illusion is completely shattering into a million tiny pieces. If you are still listening to this powerful message, I need you to type 777 in the comments right now. Do this to seal this powerful spiritual alignment. The universe is actively fighting a massive battle on your behalf right now. The heavy burden of proof is no longer resting on your tired shoulders. Karma is preparing to handle them directly. The Matrix is absolutely terrified of a chosen one who finally knows their exact worth. They wanted you completely exhausted and financially desperate. They wanted you isolated, so you would eventually settle for toxic crumbs. But a massive, unstoppable shift has just fractured their artificial system. You are no longer the quiet victim in this divine story. Let me walk you through the exact blueprint of this spiritual breakthrough. There are 3 silent signs that the universe is currently fighting a massive battle on your behalf. You need to absolutely recognize these hidden signs immediately. They prove that the heavy generational curse is completely broken. Sign number 1 is the sudden, unexplainable chaos hitting your enemy. For a long time, it looked like they were constantly winning. They stole your peace, and they walked away with a massive smile on their face. You sat in the dark, and you asked heaven why karma was taking so incredibly long. But karma was not asleep. The universe was simply gathering a massive audience. Heaven wanted the doubters to watch their ultimate public collapse. Right now, the person who drained you is experiencing a severe energetic famine. They are desperately trying to find a new empath to feed their toxic ego, but their dark frequency has been completely exposed in the spiritual realm. New people are instinctively avoiding them without even knowing exactly why. They are walking into rooms and feeling completely invisible. They are losing sleep. They are waking up in cold sweats, feeling a deep sense of absolute dread. The heavy spiritual warfare they launched against you has bounced directly off your divine shield. It is currently returning to the sender, multiplied by 7, and they do not have the Holy Spirit to protect them from the massive storm they created. Sign number 2 is the sudden awakening of the sleepers. Many chosen ones fail to recognize this second sign, and it costs them their peace. You thought the doubters would hate you forever. You thought they would always blindly follow the manipulator. But the matrix glitch is finally becoming way too obvious for them to completely ignore anymore. The manipulator is starting to slip up and contradict their own endless lies. They are demanding way too much energy from the flying monkeys, and the doubters are finally realizing how incredibly exhausting it is to be around them. The people who judged you are quietly observing the enemy unravel. They are slowly realizing that you were the actual victim all along. You might even receive a completely unexpected apology very soon. Someone who doubted your pure intentions might reach out to quietly confess their wrong judgment. But listen to me very carefully. You do not owe them a seat at your new table. They chose to believe a comfortable lie over your heavy truth. You can forgive them from a very safe distance. And finally, the third sign is the sudden, profound quietness in your own mind today. Just a few weeks ago, you were endlessly overthinking every single detail. You wanted to aggressively defend your name and prove everyone completely wrong. You felt a burning desire to expose the manipulator to the entire world. But suddenly that heavy urgency is entirely gone. You woke up one morning and you just did not care anymore. Their name no longer triggers a massive panic attack in your chest. You look at their chaotic life and you feel absolutely nothing. This emotional detachment is not a trauma response. It is the Holy Spirit actively removing the toxic, energetic cords from your beautiful empathic soul. You are completely detached from the pointless drama. You have entered the sacred sanctuary of quiet authority. Your divine energy is way too expensive to spend on cheap matrix games. From this exact moment forward, your presence alone will command deep respect, and your absolute silence will be your greatest and most devastating spiritual weapon against the system. But this raises a very important question. Why did heaven allow the doubters to exist in your story in the first place? You gave so much pure love to these people. Why was it absolutely necessary for them to turn their backs on you when you needed them most? The answer to this specific mystery will completely change how you view your entire painful past. If you do not understand the true purpose of a doubter, you will carry heavy resentment forever. Resentment is a toxic anchor that will severely delay your massive financial and spiritual blessing. We are going to dive deep into this hidden revelation right now. The universe does not make any mistakes when it places enemies in your direct path. Think about the immense pressure you felt when everyone walked away. It felt like the ground was crumbling beneath your tired feet. You were forced to stand completely alone. But that extreme pressure was not designed to crush your strong spirit. It was perfectly engineered to forcefully push you out of a deeply stagnant environment that you completely outgrew. You would have never left them on your own. Your empathic heart is way too loyal to abandon people, even when they are toxic. So heaven had to make them completely turn on you. The universe orchestrated their brutal betrayal to literally save your beautiful life. You were praying for divine protection, and God answered by removing the fake friends entirely. This leads directly into the divine decree heaven has prepared for you today. We are witnessing a massive transfer of unseen power in the spiritual realm. The people who tried to permanently bury you are currently losing their false authority, and the bright light you thought you lost is returning to you multiplied by 1,000. Let us address the profound mystery of the doubters. Why were they completely necessary for your ultimate spiritual growth? The doubters were never actually your real enemies. They were simply heavy spiritual weights placed in your life to build your divine muscle. You cannot carry a mega deposit of wealth and authority if your shoulders are incredibly weak. The matrix operates by keeping chosen ones completely distracted by the opinions of average sleepers. If you constantly seek validation from average minds, you will never step into your true divine calling. Heaven used their harsh rejection to permanently cure your disease to please others. You no longer need their shallow applause to know your exact worth. You are now completely immune to their toxic judgment. When they realize they can no longer control your pure emotions, they will experience deep spiritual panic. The invisible power dynamics have completely shifted overnight. You are no longer the wounded healer begging for basic respect. You are the powerful cycle breaker holding the absolute keys to the kingdom. The person you tried to save is watching your glorious rise from the dark shadows. They thought your total destruction was fully guaranteed. They threw you to the hungry wolves, expecting you to be entirely consumed. But they forgot that you are a highly protected masterpiece of God. You did not just survive the brutal wilderness, you tamed the wolves. Now they have to sit back and watch heaven prepare a massive table for you. The promotion you were unjustly denied is returning in a completely different and much better form. The financial delay that caused you so much intense anxiety is finally breaking wide open. The universe is removing the invisible ceiling that the manipulator tried to place over your beautiful life. Their kingdom of lies is aggressively burning down to the ground. Every time they try to launch a new smear campaign against you, it immediately backfires. People are starting to clearly see their toxic patterns. Their once abundant resources are completely drying up. The universe is systematically stripping away every single thing they acquired through dark manipulation. This energetic collapse is not an accident or a random string of bad luck. It is the direct consequence of maliciously touching an anointed chosen one. You carry a very heavy and highly protected spiritual frequency. When someone tries to dim your pure light, they essentially declare a massive war on heaven itself. And nobody has ever won a spiritual war against the divine creator. As their dark world shrinks, your beautiful territory is rapidly expanding. You are stepping into new rooms where your name is spoken with deep respect. The authentic tribe you have been praying for is finally being pulled into your orbit. You are attracting high-frequency souls who do not need you to constantly heal their heavy generational trauma. Your physical energy is returning stronger than ever before. That constant heavy brain fog is finally lifting from your tired mind. You can actually breathe deeply again without feeling that heavy weight on your chest. This is what true spiritual liberation feels like. The heavy mantle of survival mode is falling completely off your strong shoulders right now. You are entering a beautiful season of effortless abundance. You will no longer have to constantly fight for basic human reciprocity. The blessings are going to aggressively chase you down and easily overtake you. But to fully receive this massive breakthrough, you must understand one final and incredibly strict rule. If you break this rule, you will ruin the transition. The enemy is currently drowning in the exact storm they created for you. And when a toxic manipulator realizes they are finally going down, they will do something extremely predictable. They will desperately try to pull you back into their chaotic waters. They will suddenly reach out with a fake apology or a highly dramatic crisis just to test your firm boundaries. Before I reveal the divine verdict that was just issued over your life, you have to prepare yourself. The universe is about to hand you the ultimate test of your spiritual maturity. There is one specific action you must absolutely avoid when you see them completely collapse. The system wants you to desperately break this rule to trap your energy once again. We will discuss this dangerous temptation in just a moment. Your entire future depends on how you expertly handle their upcoming downfall. Stay with me, because the massive revelation coming next is the exact key to locking your beautiful frequency permanently. You do not want to fail this final test when you are standing so close to the magnificent finish line. Let us talk about the absolute most important rule of this spiritual transition. When karma finally arrives at their front door, you will feel a massive urge to speak. You will want to reach out to the doubters and loudly say that you were right all along. You will want to deeply gloat as you watch their fake empire crumble. But you must absolutely refuse this heavy temptation. If you break your silence right now, you will interrupt the divine process. Heaven is currently working perfectly on your ultimate vindication. If you step in to manually prove them wrong, the Holy Spirit will immediately step back. You cannot fight a spiritual war using cheap matrix tactics. You must stay entirely in your high-frequency lane. Let the heavy universe handle their severe punishment. Silence is not weakness. Silence is absolute wisdom, under strict control. Calm is your new, undeniable authority. When you refuse to react to their massive downfall, it proves that you have completely healed. The system desperately wants you to drop your crown and fight in the dirty mud again. but you are royal chosen ones. Kings and queens do not argue with miserable peasants. They might try to send you a pathetic apology message very soon. They will use flying monkeys to test if you are still angry. Do not take the toxic bait. If you open that door even an inch, their parasitic energy will rush back into your pure sanctuary. You must block their physical access and cut their spiritual cords completely. Leave them alone in the dark storm they passionately created. Your ultimate revenge is simply your massive, unbothered success. While they are desperately trying to rebuild their fake reputation, you will be expanding your beautiful territory. People will eventually see the glorious truth without you saying a single word. The doubters will sit in absolute silence when they realize how incredibly wrong they were. Your pure light will speak for itself. You are no longer the wounded healer constantly bleeding for toxic people. You are the quiet victor holding the keys to absolute abundance. This shift requires a very high level of spiritual stewardship. You cannot carry a mega deposit of divine wealth if your hands are still full of old resentment. You have to completely drop the heavy past right now to properly receive your massive future. I need you to prepare your physical body for this massive blessing. Take a very deep breath right now and drop your tense shoulders. Unclench your tight jaw. Open your hands wide to physically receive what heaven is currently dropping into your life. The heavy season of weeping in secret is officially completely over. You are stepping into the most powerful chapter of your entire existence. The enemy is watching you right now, and they are absolutely terrified. They thought their calculated betrayal would permanently destroy your bright spirit. But your divine resilience is a terrifying mystery to their dark matrix minds. You took their absolute worst hits, and you simply kept on walking forward. That level of spiritual endurance is exactly why heaven chose you for this massive upgrade. Do you feel that subtle shift in the heavy atmosphere around you today? The air in your room feels suddenly much lighter and incredibly crisp. That is the exact frequency of true divine vindication settling into your sacred space. The spiritual blockade that kept your finances entirely stagnant has been completely shattered. You are officially cleared for massive spiritual and physical liftoff. Stay incredibly grounded as we enter this final and most important phase. The decree I am about to release over your beautiful life is extremely powerful. You must listen to every single word with an open and completely pure heart. This is the exact moment the macro loop of your intense suffering officially closes forever. Heaven is about to completely flip the script on every person who doubted you. Let their toxic chaos stay entirely behind you. You do not need closure from people who are committed to misunderstanding your bright soul. The universe is giving you the ultimate closure right now. You are walking away from the heavy wreckage completely unharmed. Now it is time to officially claim the massive compensation that the enemy owes you. Prepare your beautiful spirit for this divine decree. The spiritual court is now fully in session. The evidence of your pure intentions has been presented to the highest divine authority. Every single tear you cried has been accurately weighed and heavily measured. The manipulator has been found completely guilty of spiritual theft, and the doubters have been permanently removed from your sacred timeline. Get ready to receive your absolute vindication. Your beautiful energy is returning to its proper place. The universe is literally wrapping a heavy cloak of divine protection around your vulnerable shoulders. Nothing from the Matrix can penetrate this powerful shield anymore. You are entirely safe to shine your brightest light without any fear of being drained. Step boldly into the quiet sanctuary because your ultimate victory is finally here today. In the mighty name of the Divine Creator, I break every generational cycle that has tried to wrap its heavy chains around your bright mind. The poverty absolutely stops with you. The intense anxiety stops completely with you. The broken and toxic relationships officially end with your brave bloodline. You are the ultimate cycle breaker, and you have brilliantly won this invisible war. I decree that the heavy, suffocating mantle of survival mode is permanently falling off your strong shoulders right in this exact second. You are no longer merely surviving the dark storms. You are stepping into a divine and totally unprecedented season of massive abundance. Breathe out the toxic trauma right now. The spiritual war you fought for your entire family tree has been completely won today. I declare right now that the heavy season of you being a simple footstool for their fragile ego is permanently over. The universe is aggressively flipping the script. Those who sat at crowded tables and spoke poorly of your pure name are about to witness a massive miracle. God is preparing a glorious feast for you right in front of their very eyes. They will watch you massively succeed in silence. You do not have to lift a single finger to defend your bright honor. You do not have to say a single word. Heaven has stepped in as your ultimate defense attorney. The massive confusion they maliciously tried to cast onto your peaceful life is returning violently to their own camp. Watch them deeply panic as your inner peace becomes entirely untouchable by their dark matrix tactics. The people who loudly doubted you are currently experiencing absolute spiritual shock. The truth about the toxic manipulator is fully exposed for everyone to clearly see. The heavy mask has fallen completely off. The doubters are realizing that they fiercely protected a spiritual parasite while actively destroying a divine masterpiece. Your sweet vindication is absolute, and it is incredibly glorious. Because you faithfully endured this brutal test, a massive financial and spiritual delay is completely broken. The divine frequency of effortless abundance is overriding the heavy matrix system right now. God is forcefully unlocking a mega deposit of incredible wealth, deep clarity, and absolute authority. This massive blessing was heavily guarded and kept hidden from you by the elite dark circles. But you are not at the absolute bottom of the heavy barrel anymore. You are firmly holding the master keys to the divine kingdom. Every single thing the enemy stole from your energy field is being returned to your account multiplied by 7. Your finances will suddenly flourish without any intense worldly struggle. You will attract pure prosperity simply by existing in your high-frequency state. The universe is totally bypassing the normal rules of time and space to deliver this breakthrough. You will achieve more in the next 3 months than you did in the last 10 painful years. The doors that were superglued shut are now blowing completely off their heavy hinges. Walk boldly right through them. You have fully paid the massive price, and now you get to keep the beautiful reward. Let them totally misunderstand you from a very far distance. Let them assume absolutely whatever they want about your new, quiet boundary. You no longer need to constantly explain your beautiful soul to people who are passionately committed to misunderstanding your divine spirit. You have fully entered the sacred sanctuary of quiet authority. Your pure energy is simply way too expensive for them now. You successfully survived the most brutal spiritual wilderness. You bravely walked completely alone, right through the blazing fire. And you came out of the dark ashes, completely purified and heavily anointed. Heaven knows exactly how much it cost your pure spirit to keep your empathic heart so soft in a toxic world that passionately tried to make you incredibly bitter. You are a massive inspiration to the universe. If this space has been your safe sanctuary today, consider the heavy weight that was just lifted off your beautiful chest. You carried that intense pain for so many long years, while absolutely nobody checked on your tired heart. But today, you are finally completely free. If this profound message resonated deeply with your pure spirit, I kindly ask you to help us keep this vital spiritual lighthouse brightly burning. Consider sowing a generous seed of deep gratitude in the pinned comment below to multiply your upcoming massive harvest. Your gentle and beautiful support allows this ministry to directly reach the very next chosen one. Someone who is currently sitting completely alone in the freezing dark, crying heavily, and thinking they are entirely invisible. Your pure gift helps us pull them out of the heavy matrix trap. As the heavy dust finally settles today, you are stepping into a profound stillness. The massive storm that raged around you has completely dissolved into absolute peace. You do not have to fight the heavy matrix anymore, and you do not have to constantly explain your bright light to the sleepy doubters. You can finally just breathe. The universe is fighting every single battle for you while you simply rest in your authority. This new spiritual season is all about your absolute, quiet authority. You do not need to announce your glorious victory to the toxic world. The people who desperately need to know will naturally feel your massive energetic shift. When you walk into a crowded room, your pure presence will immediately command deep respect. Silence is your absolute ultimate crown. Kings and queens do not loudly brag about their immense spiritual wealth. Let the toxic manipulator fade completely into the dark shadows of your past. They served their heavy purpose by teaching you how to fiercely protect your divine energy. You do not owe them any more of your precious time, and you certainly do not owe the doubters a single explanation for your massive boundaries. Your only sacred duty right now is to fiercely guard your beautiful peace. I want to pray a powerful prayer of divine sealing over your physical body right now. Close your tired eyes and gently place your hands over your pure heart. I command every toxic spiritual cord attached to your beautiful soul to be permanently severed. No weapon formed against your bright empathic spirit will ever prosper again, because the heavy matrix trap is entirely broken today. I seal your sacred energy field with the absolute highest frequency of divine protection. The enemies who tried to drain your light are permanently locked outside your beautiful gates. They can look at your massive success from a very far distance, but they can never touch your pure spirit ever again. Your divine energy is exclusively reserved for people who truly appreciate your rare light. You are a highly anointed chosen one who successfully broke a brutal generational curse. You took the heavy poison of the world and miraculously turned it into pure medicine, proving to the entire spiritual realm that your empathic heart cannot be corrupted. Heaven honors your brave sacrifice, and the universe is officially crowning you with absolute glory. Never let a sleeping doubter make you question your powerful divine assignment ever again. To ensure you remain completely aligned with this high frequency, you must protect your spiritual diet. Subscribe to this peaceful sanctuary and turn on the notification bell right now. Do this so the dark enemy cannot intercept your future divine messages. We are building a powerful army of quiet victors who refuse to be manipulated by the toxic matrix system. Take one last deep breath and let it out very slowly. The heavy spiritual warfare is officially over for this entire season. You can comfortably put your heavy armor down and finally rest your tired bones. The universe is aggressively working behind the scenes to deliver your massive mega deposit. So, prepare your bright life for a season of effortless abundance. Stay completely silent while the powerful karma does its heavy work on your enemies. Let them totally panic while you sit peacefully on your divine throne. You have beautifully earned every single drop of this upcoming massive blessing, and the toxic people you saved have to face their own harsh reality completely alone now. Your bright reality is filled with absolute joy and extreme peace. Think about how completely different your beautiful life is about to look. The people who betrayed you are currently scrambling to find a new source of fake energy, but you are naturally overflowing with a divine light that never ever runs dry. You do not need to steal energy from anyone, because the universe is your direct, infinite supply, making you completely self-sustaining and deeply protected. You must completely retire from your heavy role as the unofficial savior of broken people. That toxic job description was handed to you by a manipulative matrix system, and it is time for you to finally resign from carrying their heavy emotional baggage. Your pure empathy is a beautiful gift, but it is not for energy vampires. From this exact moment forward, your massive healing power is reserved for your own growth. While the loud doubters turned their backs, heaven was actively assigning new spiritual allies. You are about to meet incredible high-frequency souls who speak your exact language. These new people will never ask you to shrink your massive, beautiful light, because they truly understand the heavy price you paid to acquire your powerful spiritual wisdom. They will proudly celebrate your quiet authority and fiercely protect your safe space. Walk gracefully forward, with your head held extremely high. The dark season of silent weeping is permanently replaced by a beautiful season of quiet triumph. You are a majestic masterpiece crafted by the absolute highest divine creator. Stay grounded in your profound truth, and never look back at the burning bridges, because the future is incredibly bright, and it belongs entirely to you.